Welcome to Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view, from the Casablanca studio in Golden, Colorado. Hosted by Art Carlson. At 4'6", liberals fear him, and conservatives love him. He's definitely a giant among men. Now here's your host, Art Carlson.
Yeah! Welcome to another episode of Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view. We've got an action-packed show today. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Today we're going to be talking about congressional redistricting here in Colorado. The maps are out. We're going to talk about the breakdown. Plus, there's an addition. We've got a new congressional district, so it'll be interesting to see what the breakdown is on that. Also, what we're going to be talking about today, let's see, what else? We're going to be talking about the infrastructure bill that just passed. What's in it? How much is it? I mean, will Biden even sign it? Who knows? We'll talk about that. Plus, sadly, we'll talk about the Arvada police officer who was ambushed and killed a few days ago here, not far from where I live. So we'll talk about that and many more. So let's bring in my co-host all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma, the furry chief, Lloyd Mendenhall. Hey, Lloyd, how you doing? Oh, how about I unmute you? That might work.
There you go.
There we go.
Hey, how you doing, Art?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, they're fixing to, because Disney now is taking control of 20th Century, and they're going to redo the X-Men and stuff. Well, I'm trying out for the old Logan part, you know. That's what's going on here. I'm planning on being, or maybe his dad. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to be the old Wolverine.
Okay. Okay.
Not really.
All right, let's welcome our other co-host all the way from sunny Syracuse, New York. Let's welcome Mike Roach.
Hey, guys.
Welcome, Mike. Good to see you.
Hey, Mike.
Good to see you. Thanks, Art, for the invite. And yes, it actually is sunny today. Sunny
good,
and
good. Yeah, it's sunny here too. It's getting a little cloudy, but
yeah,
been having a lot of cool, wet weather here.
Yeah.
Yep, same here.
96 today.
Oh boy.
So little heat wave for us. Short though, it'll be short. But
that's what we had last week. We were in the upper 90s, right around 100 degrees.
Yeah, that's where we were last week, with a heat index of 105, and I think our humidity was 120 or something like that. It was, oh my God, it was bad.
Yeah. Hello, Chris Wedgeworth. How you doing?
Chris Wedgeworth, good to see you. He's all the way from the left coast of California.
Oh, that's right. He does live out there, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Art, I saw a picture of you.
Let's go into our first topic. We're going to be talking about new congressional maps.
Oh, hold on.
I'm going to share a screen here.
Oh, Art?
Yeah.
Mike was going to talk about a picture he saw of you. What's his picture you saw?
With a black lab. You didn't get a dog, did you? Did you get a dog?
No,
okay.
The reason why there was no art show last night is I got invited to dinner over at Enstrom's house, and that was their dog, Poppy.
Right.
And Rick happened to catch a cute picture of the two of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think some people were under the impression that it was your dog. And it kind of
Yeah.
looked like he belonged with you there, Art. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that dog just loves me because every time I come over, that dog is always leaning against me and wants her neck rubbed and
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, Chris was wondering about the hair picture that you posted.
Oh yeah, that was an old picture of me, 1988, when I was living with some friends of mine, and I was back in my heavy metal days. My my roommate had a drum set there, and she decided, hey, let's spoof up your hair, and got that crazy picture of me with the big hair and the drumsticks.
This kind of seems like an episode of This Is Spinal Tap, with going back through the years.
You know what? Let's see if I can bring that picture up.
Yeah, I've been. I thought the best one was when you were showing your attempt at cross country skiing.
Oh yeah.
That
Okay, let's share that.
Sorry about that. I haven't been waking up to clear out the pipes.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Look at that big hair and that mustache and the old aviator glasses that I wore.
I still wear the aviator style glasses, but I wear them more to size. Back in the 70s and 80s, those things were like, they made them twice the size what they needed to be,
Yep.
And you look back now.
I used to wear Bob Greasy glasses back in high school. Remember Bob Greasy?
He
had
quarterback
those.
for the Dolphins?
They looked kind of like aviators, but they were the thick plastic.
Oh yeah.
Art, the hair there looks a little bit like who was that record producer who went to?
Oh yeah, Glitter.
Arlen Specter.
No.
Yeah,
No?
Phil Spector.
Phil Spector.
Yeah.
Phil Spector. Yeah.
What's going on there?
That's
I knew
right.
Spector was the last name. I couldn't remember his first name for some reason.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
And his
what's great about
porn stash.
photos, man.
Oops. It's my brother-in-law. There's Capybara. That was when I was in Venezuela. All right, let's see if I could. Oh yeah,
There's the picture I was talking about. Yeah.
Yep. Cross-country skiing. Boy.
It didn't look like it got very
Just
far.
kicked my butt. And
there it is.
Here's me with Poppy.
You both have the same color going on the chin there.
Yeah.
That may be why it looks like he's your dog, because you kind of got same chin feature there. Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty. Okay, let's get the congressional maps here.
So the left is at it again, huh? Trying to gerrymander?
Well, we've got a commission going here where it is broken up to where it's equally divided. There are Democrats, Republicans, and unaffiliates. And they're on this. And so, from what I understand, you only need a simple majority to approve the maps. And then once the maps are approved, it goes to the state Supreme Court, where a judge will, and that the judge has to follow certain criteria. And if he says that the maps follow the criteria of being proportional, rather than making it where one side will have more control over the other, pretty much gerrymandering. So,
Well,
let
hopefully
me get over
the judge.
to this other map. And oh, here's the party breakdown by district. And in the new district 8, the Democrats have a slight lead, where now District 7, which used to be leans Democrat, now is leaning Republican. So we could pick up that district. And so we could end up with a 4-4 race here. We can have 4 Republicans, 4 Democrats. Unless, something really gets squirrely, we could be 5-3, 6-2. Now they're, if you see District 1 and 2 are heavily Democrat. So there's no changing on that now.
Now, which districts are those? 1 and 2?
Okay, 1 is Denver.
Right,
And
I
2
figured
is,
that.
Boulder, Fort Collins, Loveland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hey, Mel.
Hey, Mel.
Hey, Mel.
Good to see you. So, but on Tuesday, the State House and State Senate maps come out. So that'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Oh, okay. So this is for the this was for the federal redistricting.
Right. For congressional district.
Congressional, yeah. Okay.
Now on this, let's see. Okay. Here I can get kind of an idea of where.
Yeah.
Now this is District 2. This is Boulder. And then District 8 is purple. That's going to be Arvada, Westminster, Broomfield, Commerce City, Brighton, and up into Weld County.
Now, is that the new district?
That's the new district.
Okay.
District 7, which is used to be my district, that's flipped. That goes to almost all of Jefferson County and half of Douglas County, which is very conservative.
Okay.
District 6, which is Aurora and Littleton, Inglewood, Centennial, and all these little cities here.
Right.
That has become a little bit more conservative, but not a whole lot. Oops.
Yeah, they could take and split that whole state based off of that. And you could have that kind of light tan, which is over on western side of Colorado. Yep. That could be one state right there, and maybe throw in a little bit of the dark tan one or the brown one there. Maybe throw that in as part of the state, and a little bit, that could be the state of western Colorado.
There you go.
Which,
where District
ironically,
5 is still predominantly Republican. That's Colorado Springs and El Paso County. Now, what
Right.
changed is District 3 lost San Luis Valley and Pueblo. And it's flipped and it's gone over to District 4, which is Ken Buck's district.
Yeah.
And District 3 is Lauren Boebert's district.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, that whole western half, and they were talking about that when I was a kid, or when I was living in Grand Junction,
Right?
and it's never happened.
No.
But I see the day coming that it may happen.
Yeah, who knows? And let's see. So 3, 4, and 5 are solid Republican. Now District 7 goes from being leaning Democrat, now becomes leans Republican. So but if you look at District 2, that's changed because that's got more conservative areas. So but it's still going to be pretty much Democrat there.
Yeah. I mean, you're starting to see a rise in. I'm starting to see a lot of rise in conservatives at a lot of places across the country.
Right?
And the left just doesn't see the handwriting on the wall. And let's hope that the conservative values that seem to be moving and are becoming, well, they've probably always been there, but now the conservatives, after taking enough beatings over the last, 16, 18 years,
Right.
we're finally starting to stand up and say, hey, we've had enough of this crap, instead of, oh, can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
Right.
How about you? What's going on there in New York? You guys lost the congressional seat, right?
Yeah. Well, no shock there, and because people are leaving the state like crazy, and
Right.
I don't know where it's going to be. I've been so tuned out of the news lately. After all of last year and this spring, between the riots and COVID, I just needed some time to like zone out and enjoy the sunshine, that kind of thing. But and now that the COVID stuff has improved so much, Governor Cuomo is Mr. Happy. Let's all just party on like nothing ever happened. And
Right.
the state fair is fully on this year. If people show up, the vendors, I mean, and because they got a plan, and so he wants job security. So he's come on, it's party time. We'll see after, hopefully in next year's election. That's my concern, is getting rid of Cuomo, and his emergency powers, I believe, did expire just a couple days ago fully.
Right.
So, thank God for that. But other than that, we're doing pretty good here. Where things are open for the most part. I went out for the first time with all of my family members to a retirement party at a restaurant. No requirements, anything like that. It was
Right.
it felt good. Normal feels good. The feeling of it comes back really quick. And,
Yeah,
Now, was that restaurant fully staffed, or did they have some?
That place, they've been open for a while, so I think for several months now. So they seem to be doing well with the staff.
Good. Because
they-
a lot
they've
of
been in
restaurants
several places.
here in the Denver area, they can't get enough people to come back to work.
Yeah, I do know a couple people personally who are just playing video games all day, and because they can, and hopefully they're in for a wake-up call come September.
Yep.
They've already discontinued the emergency unemployment relief.
No,
there's a good question.
Yeah, I got a bug flying around my face. I need
The Aussie wave.
right. Actually, the staff did not have masks on.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
good.
so that was I mean, it's really gotten. I assume they probably have the shot.
Yeah, that's
Or
probably true.
but yeah, I saw a couple of people walk in by their own choice with no mask, but basically it was like, this is normal, looks terrific, it was very nice.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, going over my grocery store that I go to all the time. They have a sign up there that says because it's one of those owner operated, or it was a big chain, but employee owned, I guess is the term. And they voted, and the choice is the employees now whether they want to wear the mask or not. And there was one gal there. She was a young gal, and
Right.
I asked her here before the mask mandate finally ended, but it was getting close. We knew it was coming. And the city of Muskogee dropped theirs. I think Tulsa was dropping theirs within a week or two. I asked her, I said, so you going to take the mask off? She says, oh, absolutely. Think that us young people want to wear these masks? They've overreported that. So there's hope for the younger generation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
There's
I occasionally I'll see some idiot at a bus stop. There's nobody there, and they're wearing a mask outside.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
what?
And actually, a lot of really young people right now. I'm not sure why, but overprotective parents, whatever, going around, and half the time the mask is on their chin.
Yeah.
On. But it's I'm not sure why, but because they're not even eligible for the vaccine or whatever.
Right.
And obviously it's voluntary. So I think it's about supposedly 70% of New York State has been vaccinated with at least one shot. I don't know if that's more in New York City, up here, because we're quite far from New York City. So that's two different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, same here in Colorado, where 70% who have gotten at least one shot. However, it's the young people that aren't getting vaccinated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I don't know if they need to. If we're getting to 70%, do we really need any more people getting
I
that?
mean, we're reaching herd immunity right now.
Yeah.
Right, and a little more time couldn't hurt.
We've got a thing going on. It's starting to affect a little bit of eastern Oklahoma, which is where I live. But Missouri is the hottest spot for new COVID cases in the United States. They've got a strain that I don't know which strain it is, but they've got a different strain that's just popular. Yeah, and it's which one? The Delta? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah. That's the same problem they're having down in Sydney right now. I talked to Greg last night. They're on 14-day shutdown. The whole Sydney greater area, which is their most populous city in Australia. It'd be like shutting down, New York City.
Right. Yeah.
Or LA. And he can't go out and drive. He can't, he said yesterday there was a helicopter. We were talking last night, and he kept hearing, and I could hear it in the background. He says, there's an aircraft around here. So finally went out. He says, oh, that's a news helicopter trying to see who's violating the COVID lockdown. I said, step to your front door and flip him the bird. At least you'll be on the news.
There you go.
I said, but put your mask on.
There you go.
That's what I would have done.
That's an amazing thing. It kind of reminds you, like, as much as our country has gotten screwed up compared to some others, we still, thank God for the liberties that we still do have. That lockdown so far hasn't literally meant, you get arrested if you go outside. At least not anywhere that I know of. And it's like, because we basically wore masks to the store and stuff here, but nobody was confined to quarters kind of thing.
Right. Well, and you got to remember, the way they did theirs, is we're talking, I think, well, one of the problems is like he showed in a 24-hour period, it went from, they had like 72 new cases in a 24-hour period. Well, that's still a low amount, but it was fast. It was spreading really fast.
Right.
And they got on it. And here, you want to know how it started over there? This is hilarious. A flight crew member comes in. A flight crew member comes in. He gets in. The Uber driver takes him around somewhere. They drop him off. The Uber driver's wife is a hairdresser. She gets COVID. Her and her 3 friends all have COVID now. And they kept working. 600 clients exposed.
Wow.
That is stupid. You know, come on, you got COVID, you don't go to work, and especially in a public sector job. I mean, let's I don't care whether you, that's just common sense, you know. You don't, and
Have
it's
somebody working on your hair. So what's going? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Let's thumb.
Well,
let's thumb
they say you want something to get around, go to the hairdresser, it'll get around. Well, apparently so does COVID. And that's what caused it. It's like, that's just, I'm sorry. Whether you think it's an evil plot and you want to put on your aluminum foil hats or whatever, that's just stupidity. You know, it's the same with the flu. If you've got the flu, stay home. I don't want it.
Right.
Yep.
People always hesitate to do that, though. They don't want to lose the money, whatever. So they go to work sick with the flu or whatever.
But 3 women, and they exposed all of their clients. And of course, it's just spread like crazy. You know, it came from a beauty salon, just like rumors. It just spreads like wildfire.
That's true.
Although a little while ago, my doctor does a small radio show on Sundays. It's basically a 1-hour advertisement. You know how radio it's basically free on the weekends. And he focuses more on, sure, there's case numbers, but what's the morbidity count? You know, you know, maybe there's some cases, but how many deaths from COVID compared to, say,
and so far they haven't had any
right.
in this you know, in this new outbreak. And you know, Australia's, they've got to do something, because one, they've got free public health. They're going to lose money on the deal either way. And it is like you said, we may have a screwed up system, but I think we still got a pretty good system when it comes to it. At least we haven't been locked down. And you know, there's a couple towns they arrested some people for breaking the COVID lockdown, but I think those have all been thrown out.
And God forbid.
Alrighty, on to our next topic. So we've got an infrastructure bill that passed the House and Senate. Republicans were able to get it down to slightly under $1 trillion. Now here's the kicker. Will Biden sign it? Because he's being pressured that it's just not enough money.
Right. Well,
the
Republicans got a little bit of what they wanted to say, but what's to say there isn't going to be a second infrastructure bill? You know, well, we got that. Now we've got to do this and another, $1 trillion on something else,
Yeah.
And
and then they go through reconciliation,
right,
which could really screw things up. I mean, these people have no limiting factors at all, because it's like you give them some money, they want more.
Yep.
You know, it's never enough.
Right.
Yeah,
And
They think, oh, we'll just print more money. We'll just, have some more treasury bills. We'll sell those, and and not understanding that doing that devalues the dollar and weakens the purchasing power of the workers, making things more expensive.
yeah.
yeah. And then, of course, let's raise the minimum unemployment rate so that these guys can purchase more, which is going to cost more to now. Instead of getting the dollar menu, they've even changed that at McDonald's now. It's now the value menu, because it's
Value.
$1, $2, and $3. And I've noticed even the cheap hamburgers are moving up into the $2 bracket. Which is it's getting
Yeah.
ridiculous.
All these so-called, raises or minimum wage to $15 or whatever, it's going to get canceled out with inflation.
Yeah.
It's just,
They just don't understand that.
I mean, this isn't complicated math, and it's amazing how the people in power right now, just even compared to 20 years ago, just have no concept of, like, there's a limited supply of money. You got to have economic growth if you want more money. And, we need to grow our way out of what we've been through in the last year. And spending, and plus the amount of the bill that goes towards actual, what we would understand as infrastructure, is what, 7% or so, of things, bridges and road repair, things like that. Just, it's a gift wish list for the left.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, their idea of infrastructure is, daycare for kids and all these social programs.
Right, more critical race
their
theory.
concept of infrastructure is totally different than our concept of infrastructure. Roads, bridges, electric grid, and water and sewage treatment.
Well, and I think the problem is they don't know how to use a dictionary to look these words up. They just hear these catchphrases down the halls of Congress and like, I like that word, infrastructure. We'll use that for daycare and we got this new socialist program we're going to use. Infrastructure. Let's build some new radio or broadcast rules so that we can preach nothing but socialism and communism. We need that infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
It is
Whatever that word means, because they don't know.
Yeah, you're right, Lloyd. It's amazing how literally they're taking words which have always had solid meanings and just changing the definition.
Yeah.
My lawn
Catchphrase of the day.
Infrastructure, I want it cut by the government.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, that's like George Carlin. He talked about how language changed over time. World War I vets, they had what was called shell shock.
Shell shock.
And each war, that term got softened up. To where World War II, it was called
battle fatigue.
Battle fatigue.
Yep.
Yeah, and then by the Vietnam, it was PTSD.
Well, and it's been, it wasn't, even then it wasn't, PTSD wasn't a term that they used. I mean, it didn't come around until probably in the last 30 years that they actually developed the term PTSD. Of course, that's the short for post-traumatic stress disorder, because suddenly 30 years ago they discovered all of us crazy Vietnam vets, we had a disorder.
Right. And now there's PTSD
all those
for
drugs
everything.
you took.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
you get PTSD if your mother spanked you too much.
Yes, yeah. Now it's you can suffer from PTSD if the clown scared you at the circus.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
gotta admit, they used to scare the hell out of me,
Or
but that's a
Biden
different
sniffs your
story.
hair or something,
Yeah, Biden sniffs your hair. You got it. Now that one, okay, I can understand that one. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I get freaked out about that. I mean,
But
just about
that's the
everything
thing.
he does creeps me out. I
Yeah.
mean,
What
when he
creeps you out
whispers,
about Biden?
I got you that feel. I got you.
Yes,
That,
let's do the whole show in whispers because
Right.
in tribute to Uncle Joe.
Joe,
Oh man.
talk like this. Maybe we'll get more done, and people will listen to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, well, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
Mike
like
B brings up a
our
couple of things.
generation. You know, we had sarcasm. You know,
Yeah.
we joked around, and now these millennials, you know, say, "Oh, babe, those words they hurt me." I mean, that's what toughened us up was sarcasm. You know,
Well, yeah.
because we understood how the real world works, and these millennials, after they've been coddled and you know caressed and made sure, oh, nothing happens. Let's. Oh. And then finally, after high school, and they go to college, and they find out, oh, this is a real world. They don't know how to deal with it.
Right. And
That's for
unfortunately,
Chris. We hurt his feelings.
a lot of these college people are making their way into the upper levels of the military now, and how our military has become woke in terms of
Oh my God,
things, and
they're getting rid of all of the leaders that had any cojones. They're firing them. Because and yeah, we're sorry, Chris.
sorry, Chris. Well,
Yeah,
We'll
My
take
heart
it.
bleeds
Give a
purple
fuck.
peanut butter for you.
Yeah,
Bite
like
me.
remember who was the general in the Gulf War? Norman Schwarzkopf.
Norman Schwarzkopf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He could not talk the way he did in press conferences now. He would be
No.
reprimanded in
No.
some way.
No. And yeah, just in 20 years or in 30 years,
30 years, yeah.
it has just gotten ridiculous. I mean, and it comes down to they've been planning this. They've been working at this since the 70s. They started doing this in the really when Richard Nixon, I saw, what was it? It was something, Boxcar Willie. I was watching one of his old videos. And he said, the reason I became a hobo, well, it's Richard Nixon's fault. So, you know how far back that was, as in the 70s, But that's when they were trying to blame everything on Richard Nixon and his economic policies and the war. But that's how far back they've been working at this,
Right.
Yep.
ever since Nixon got into power. They wanted to,
Mhm.
once Johnson was out, they started working at okay, we're going to restructure ourselves, we're going to rebrand ourselves. They didn't call it rebranding back then. That's another one of those new
Mhm.
phrases that's, and that's all they do is you can sit there and listen to a speech by Biden when you can understand it.
That's
And his speeches are 30 minutes of catchphrases being strung end to end.
Right. Yeah, he really says nothing of any
He does, yeah,
matter.
yeah.
Mhm.
And this
Yeah.
rebranding stuff, like you said, it's like changing the name of the Titanic to another name and expecting a different outcome. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same old crap. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah, somebody
I
got
hope
the
people
bright
see
idea.
through it.
Somebody's got the bright idea of building the Titanic again and making the Titanic 2. Like, really? I really want to ride on that ship. I saw how the first
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, and you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
So
think
did you see?
the writing on the movie Titanic, that whole generation has moved on now. You know, I don't think there's as much romance about Titanic as there was back in the '90s when the movie was out. You know,
Right.
Right.
that's
Right.
died off.
Yeah.
So,
But
That kind of gave me a
it's
sinking feeling.
yeah.
oh, the comedian's kicking in.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew it was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, and with these,
Oh.
you know, everybody's feelings getting hurt and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's like whatever, you know, one word can sink you nowadays. No pun intended there, Art. But it's like I grew up in a black neighborhood. I'll admit I've used the N word 1,000 times in my life, you know, in that neighborhood. And since then, it was just part of our vocabulary. It was part of everybody's vocabulary in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in an offensive way, but sometimes in just, you know, the way it's used now in rap songs or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's. I saw something this last week that surprised me because you guys, I'm sure, saw the debate that Jeff Dunham did between uh, I think it was called Grump and something. Anyways, it was supposed to be Biden and Trump. He did with
Right.
Walter. You know, he did the two parts. This week, he just came out. He came flat out, and he did a Biden press conference, and it was, you know, he's always balanced his stuff, so he
Right.
wasn't leaning. Yeah. Now this week, boom.
yeah.
He put out a new video of a Biden press conference, and it was like he didn't care. He finally came out and just. Problem is the Biden he had actually sounded more intelligent than the one that's really there, the real life one. The
Right.
dummy was smarter.
The dummy knew he was a dummy, and you
Yeah.
know, whereas
And,
Biden doesn't.
yeah, but the fact that Jeff Dunham finally took a stance and went straight at the point, it wasn't a balance one way or the other. He went straight at it, and he nailed it. And it's probably one of his most watched videos.
I know. I watched
So,
it.
did you see it?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
No, I gotta go check it out now.
yeah.
yeah. Chris says now it'll be canceled. I don't think he will, and I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah,
his
I
money.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Also,
I've
Jon
worked with
Stewart did
Jeff.
that
He's funny.
Hershey chocolate thing. You know, on he went on the comedian Jon Stewart.
Yeah,
You know, the
I
late
guess I
night
didn't
guy.
see that.
He went on and, you know, about talking about where did the virus come from? Like,
Oh yeah, when he went on Colbert.
yeah, and he compared it to, like, well, let's say in Hershey, Pennsylvania, chocolate got on everything. Where could it have possibly come from? You know, think maybe the Hershey chocolate factory. And
Yeah.
he blasted into that. So maybe the comedians are finally starting to say, you know, come on, we can't fake this any longer. But they lost me a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's but I was just glad to see that Jeff Dunham finally took that stance. I mean, you could always tell he was conservative, you know,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
for the most part.
I think
But he always tried to he tried to be a good comedian. He tried to poke fun at both sides, you know, and that's what a comedian does. You don't pick sides when it comes to, unless you're, you know, it's blatantly like Joe Biden, you know. Come on. That is a comedian's dream, you know. I mean, Letterman in his day would be ripping him a new one, you know.
right.
I mean, you go back and look at all the Jimmy Carter jokes that were out there. Oh my
Right.
God. You know, Billy Beer and who, you know. Yeah,
Right.
there was nothing sacred back
Right,
then.
exactly.
Well,
Both
even
sides
when
got
I
it good.
did stand-up comedy and I would go into the realm of politics, I always kept it kind of, you know, even keel because that's
Right.
the nature of the business. You know, you can't have half the audience piss off at you if you're trying to have a good show. So you had to, it was a balancing thing. Unless you go into a club that that town is, predominantly one way or the other, then you would poke at them more from that side. Yeah.
Right. But as long as there's
Yeah,
a seed of truth in the comedy,
Yeah.
and that's what made the Dunham thing funny,
Yeah,
is there
that's right.
was truth in it,
there's
and
yes,
that's what's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it wasn't malicious. It was just funny,
Right.
you know. And I Mike B puts up. I don't know if you see his comment there. I agree. I saw somebody. Well, I think it was one of my cousins, and they've taken the rainbow, which the rainbow was God's promise,
Right.
and they've perverted that into something different. Now, yeah, and that same rainbow symbol. I don't know if you guys remember, or if you were involved with any of the evangelical stuff back in the 70s. Probably not, but I was. And the rainbow was you may even remember all those rainbow stickers that
Yeah.
people had on the back of their station wagons and their cars and their family cars. That was part of the evangelical movement, because God's promise.
Right.
That same rainbow thing has been taken over and been used by Pride now.
Oh,
Yeah.
The other thing is my son came in yesterday or day before. No, it's the day before, Friday. And he had hip surgery, and he's finally got his stitches out and was able to start driving again. So he came over he had his truck parked, or his car parked here. But anyways, he came in, and he's got a rainbow thing across. Well, my son's conservative. And I looked at that, and then I saw that they'd put in black and white the puzzle piece, because my grandson has autism, and the puzzle piece with different colors represents autism, but the Pride people are using the rainbow colors for this. And then what Mike B says, or Chris says, when is White Pride Month?
Right.
And
the thing is, remember, it was basically the Pride Day, even 5 years ago. And, it's fine. Have your parade. In San Francisco, they're nude going down the street, hanging from ropes. I mean, you name it in the parade there. But it'd be one day and over. And now it's the whole month. And one thing that really got me the other day, I love documentaries on Smithsonian Channel. Happens to be one of the really good channels for documentaries. And I noticed that the little Smithsonian symbol down in the right-hand corner on the screen is rainbow colored now. And I'm wondering if
everything's got the rainbow thing going.
Yeah, and it's
even Google's got that. When you look at Google, it's rainbow.
Yeah, they're hitting us over the head with it so much. Yeah. The good thing about that thing, though, is that when you go too far, it usually backfires in some way. Mm-hmm. But man, it's everywhere. You can't get away from it.
Well, you guys remember what the mascot for the University of Hawaii?
No.
They were the Rainbow Warriors.
All right.
On their helmet,
yeah.
They had the rainbow on their football helmet. And then several years ago, they got rid of that rainbow, and now they're just called the Warriors.
Yeah, which you think that will become offensive? They'll have to change
they had to change that into I don't know.
The
Hawaiian powder puffs.
It's pretty liberal, but
yeah.
Oh well. Well, yeah, that's it is crazy. It's funny. And back in the early '80s, my first wheelchair van was a '77 Dodge Street van. It was called. And it had in the package these rainbow stripes that went around the entire vehicle, and it was about 4 or 5 colors in the the emblems. And it's like, thank God I don't have that thing anymore.
Oh, it was just so special,
Oh,
man.
it's beautiful.
And just beautiful. You were just
Yeah,
so special.
But
I
it didn't
remember some of
mean
those.
anything. It was just colors, like Scooby Doo
Yeah.
kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, here's something
Well,
because Mel brought up that they've been using the rainbow flag since the late '70s, actually 1978. But it actually comes, it started being used a lot. And I remember, as I said, that rainbow symbol was used a lot in some of the evangelical movement. But it goes all the way back to 1921, and it was under the 1921, the rainbow flag became part of the International Cooperative Congress of the World Co-op Leaders. It was
oh,
a socialist movement.
Right.
1921. And I remember because as a minister, I did a lot of reading back then. And I mean, I was in the service, and but I was also a Pentecostal minister. And I remember there were a lot of books coming out against using the rainbow, but it's like WWJD. It passed like wildfire through but they said it was part of it was based off of the New World Order, as they called it back then,
uh,
and that we're not talking about the wrestling team, NWA,
Right.
or New World Order, NWO. Sorry,
Right.
wrong acronym. Oops.
okay.
Okay,
And then
that's not
Jesse
PC.
Jackson co-opted it too. In the 80s there with the Rainbow Coalition.
Right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and that kind of morphed into what it is now, somewhere
Yeah.
from then to
Yeah.
now.
Speaking
Well,
of
didn't
Jesse, did you hear he got
Rush
arrested?
Limbaugh would call him the monochromatic coalition?
Yeah,
Right.
the monochromatic. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man.
hmm
Do we miss Rush or what?
Oh, yeah.
really.
From what I understand, the two new guys I hear are pretty darn good. So I'll have to start listening to them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I gave him
there's
a shot the other day. I'm not sold yet, but I want to give him a shot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I want to give them a listen and see how I like. I was hoping Dan Bongino would take over. And that's what I heard, right after Rush passed away, that he was being groomed to take that time slot. And they were talking about doing that. And then when I found out wasn't didn't get the nod that two other guys were going to do it, and I'm
right.
like going, uh,
Yeah.
I think I've heard these guys when they they filled in for Rush when he was getting really sick towards the end. I think
Well,
it's the same guys, unless
the guy that
somebody
took
different.
over in our area, and he took over for Rush after he passed away, and he did the Rush show, and it was actually Rush Limbaugh show, and they just replayed a lot of Rush's parts, and he would narrate in between a different,
Right.
going in or coming out of commercials.
Yeah.
But
Same here, Chris.
yeah. Well, I'd been paying attention to politics since I was in grade school. I had a great fifth grade teacher that really they taught government back then. So
Right.
yeah, I see. I'm looking at the time. Yeah. But anyways, this guy that took over for Rush in our area, I don't like him that well. He's
Oh,
I don't
Yeah.
know, it's too much cheeky stuff, it's like all this it's one of those Rush was he was
Yeah, he was
calm,
pretty
he
vanilla.
spoke
You
yeah,
know.
he had great stuff, but he was easy to listen to. This guy is just
Yeah.
and it just
well,
annoys the
Rush
hell out of
used a
me.
lot of sarcasm too,
Yes.
and I liked his parodies. We had Paul
Paul
Shanklin.
Shanklin.
Oh God,
Yeah.
those were so funny. I think I
Yeah.
still have one of those CDs.
Oh, that's right. They sold CDs for that. Yeah.
That's right. They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
You could probably still find them on eBay.
Right.
Oh yeah, for a price.
Jeez.
So, all right, let's go into our last topic. I don't know if, Mike, you heard about this. We had a local police officer who was ambushed and killed not far from where I live. And the Good Samaritan that killed the suspect later was killed by police. And I saw the videotape of the Good Samaritan going to his truck and getting his AR-15 to take down the suspect. And before the show, Lloyd and I, we were talking about, had the guy just put down his gun after he took out the suspect and then put his hands up, or got on the ground and had his hands behind his head, he would still be alive.
Right.
But
One of the things that they taught in my concealed carry, because you guys know I carry all the time now. Well, I don't in the house, but it's by my bed. But one of the things they taught us, if you are in a shooting situation and you have to kill someone, or, you know, because if you're going to shoot them, you damn sure better kill them, because you don't want them shooting back. That's what they teach. Center body mass, you know. And I hope I never have to. I hope I never have to draw my gun other than shooting a paper target. But when you do that, the first thing you do is afterwards, before the cops get there, you set your gun on the hood of your vehicle or on the ground. You get down and you wait.
Right.
And that is what you're taught to do. You safety your gun, pop the clip out, set them on the ground there, and you wait. You either sit on the curb or you sit like this, but step away from your gun. And that way the officers, when they show up on the scene, once you have the area secured. Now, if you're in a mass shootout, well, okay. If you're in a restaurant and you have 3 guys come in and you have to empty your magazine into these 3 bad guys, okay, that's a different thing. But yeah, Mike B says they will sue you if you don't kill them,
yeah.
And that's exactly it.
Well, here's the other catch: the family could sue you.
Yeah, the family can sue you, and that's why it's good to have the U.S. Concealed Carry Association, USCCA. It's good to have that, be a member of that, so you can have the insurance and the legal protection you need for that. You know, right. We are in an open carry state. We have constitutional carry. We also have stand your ground laws. And now we can run over protesters if they try to stop our vehicle and not be prosecuted. Although that's being challenged in court right now. They're talking about putting it in front of the pole, but, you know. Yeah. But this is Oklahoma.
As soon as they try to stop your vehicle, they cease becoming protesters. And
that's right.
In essence, they're rioters, you know, and you're saving your life. Just as
and this actually happened up in Tulsa, in which they had, it was right after, I don't know, here 2 years ago. And these protesters, it was a Black Lives Matters thing. The Antifa and Black Lives Matter broke off from the main crowd that was, I don't know, it's a George Floyd thing. And, you know, anyways, they broke off and they blocked the interstate. Well, that right there should have been federal, because the interstate's controlled by the federal government, you know, so impeding traffic on a federal, anyways, blah, blah, blah. They started surrounding this van, and he had his family in there. It was an RV, and he had his family in there. He started surrounding it, and he just stepped on the gas, and he killed one person and sent 2 or 3 flying over the bridge, you know.
Right.
And of course, everybody's demanding he be arrested for killing that person. they didn't have any laws on how to deal with that. You know, technically he left the scene of an accident. Technically he was the violator because he hit a person. But he was in fear of his life, and under our standard ground laws, he had a right to defend himself. So they put this law on the book to cover that situation, that once the protesters become violent, they are no longer protesters, they're anarchists, or they're criminals. So it's
Right.
that's the only reason it's there. You know, they're trying to make a bigger deal out of it than it is, but there was no, of course the guy didn't get prosecuted, but like you said with this guy here, he got killed by the police officer because he didn't use he
Common
and
sense.
of course it's hard when you're in the middle of a situation, but he should have put his gun down,
Yep.
you know, because that's what we're taught. As long as the area is secured and your life is no longer at threat, you step away from your gun, because you will be arrested whether it's justified or not. You will be arrested, you know, because he was doing it in defense of another, you know. And unfortunately, like you said, the first police officer died, and of course, bad guy died. That's good. But now, unfortunately, the Good Samaritan died.
Yeah. Well, that's where I would suppose, you know, making sure to constantly practice not only your shooting skills, but scenario type of things.
Yes.
And, you know, because that becomes the fog of war kind of situation, I suppose.
It does. It does. Yeah. Yeah. Situational awareness is always important when you're carrying a weapon. And I constantly think, as soon as I see a police officer in the area, I constantly think, what do I have to do if I get pulled over? You know, first thing, you know, if I have time before they get out of their vehicle approach, I reach in, grab my wallet, or if I'm going down the road and I see one, I'll grab my wallet and set it next to me, so that when they walk up, I've got one hand and I've got showing my concealed carry and tell them, I'm carrying. Just want you to know it's on my right side over here. Because that actually happened to us, and I had, first time that it happened, I was like, what am I going to do? You know, that's my first thought. And I actually had time to take my gun off and put it in the console, and let them know that I have a loaded gun in the vehicle. It's over here. It's not in my immediate reach, but here's my concealed carry license. This is what happened with this guy here. He didn't get past, as you said, that fog of war situation, that's, you know, and that's one thing. You've always got to have situational awareness when you're in that, you know.
Yeah.
And but what's worse, they ambushed the cop. That's what the big problem is.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's sad about the Good Samaritan, but it's worse about the cop, because they go out there and put their life on the line for us every day, and they're targets.
Yeah.
You know?
And who's fueling this? It's the media and the Democrats.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, we gotta get these people to say, come on, guys. We don't need
Literally
this crap.
Literally Biden and Harris are fueling it. And they did all of last year. Harris donated money to bail people out for rioting.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. And,
Yeah.
You know, it's like they feel like they've got permission now until they finally get slapped down, hopefully enough. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what this guy was thinking, you know. He said, I'm going to go kill a cop. I'm going to kill as many as I can. And I don't know if he had a death wish, you know, being suicidal and understanding that maybe he'll get killed in the process.
Right.
You know, another version of suicide by cop.
Right.
You know?
Well, there, as you guys know, my son's a police officer. He's police chief, and he gets daily briefs, daily updates from the FBI, from the state, from the federal government, and they're there's actually daily threats. There's a group, and I don't know what the group is. I don't know if it's an organized group or if it's just loosely organized, but they are targeting police officers across. They're being empowered and being pushed to. Yeah, my concealed carry stuff probably does come up when I run my place, but I just like to be safe. I'd rather be honest and straight up front. You're right, Mike. I'm sure that it does because it's registered through the State Bureau of Investigation. They're the ones who issue it.
The
So
good thing to
if
do
they've got
too
it,
is shut the car off. That'll really put a cop at ease too. When you
I
get pulled
do.
over.
Yeah. I generally do because
Yeah,
you know.
you're not going to take
But
off.
yeah, exactly. And I told my kids for years, it's always say yes sir, yes ma'am. If you're respectful of them, I don't care if they've had a bad day. They may have just. You don't understand what a cop may have said. They may have just came from a call where some guy just beat his wife half to death, and then maybe raped his 10-year-old stepdaughter. And that's the kind of crap they see on a daily basis. And they're not always, Mr. Sunshine when they pull you over. And, you may have done something blatantly stupid. And they just like, oh, God, I can't ignore this, because everybody just saw this idiot do that. So they pull you over and it's like, you don't know. They're humans. So I've always taught my kids that, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Best way not to get shot by a cop is do what they tell you. If you have a problem, fight about it in court, But
Right.
the problem is like I said, just telling Art before the show, he's getting daily updates of organized hits on police across the United States. He doesn't even mow the front yard anymore without his gun on. And this year, last year we didn't do anything because of COVID. This year we thought, well, we're going to do 4th of July stuff. He says, I'm not sitting out in the front yard this year. He says, I just am not comfortable doing it. He says, there's too much craziness. And because he's the police chief, he has the police chief's patrol car in his driveway. Immediate target. That's what they're doing. They're going wherever there's a patrol car. Some places have made the police leave their vehicles at home now, or I mean at the office
You're right.
or at the job, at the precinct, because they don't want them to be targets. But
Yeah. That's what the family gathering I went to the other night was, a retirement party for my nephew from the Syracuse police. He did 20 years and got out. He didn't want to get out that quick, but with the situation the way it is today, it's like now he's a school resource officer, and it's a cakewalk compared to what he was in homicides before. So
This cop that was killed was an SRO over at the junior high school that my grandniece went to.
oh wow,
Yeah.
right. I mean, that's no guarantee either. It's
no,
all law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's anybody who wears a badge is a target now. And we've got to do something to take control of our country, and I don't mean armed insurrection, nothing like that. That's not the way to do it. We've got to get to the voting booths. We've got to start making these politicians stand up, and and that's what shows like this is about. Make people start becoming aware, and we need to spread the news of shows like this so that we can let people know that they're not alone in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm doing a little bit better job at that when I set up this show. I schedule the show. What I'll do is I'll go into YouTube and I'll put in tags, and that'll help drive the show a little better. So, well, guys, we did a little over an hour, and boy, that hour just went on by.
Yeah.
So, I want to thank you for being part of the show. I want to thank the folks in the chat for coming down, and looks like we've got a little bit bigger audience than normal. So, any last words, Mike?
No, other than Independence Day coming up a week from today. I'm looking forward to that, and in some, it's always meant something, but it's still a celebration, but now it's a little more solemn, I guess, this year. It'll be fun with fireworks and whatnot in the neighborhood, but I just hope that everyone in their parties and everything keep in mind, like, this isn't just hot dogs and fireworks. It's what it is, and like you said, Lloyd, we all need to just start standing up and voice our opinions, because one of us speaks up, there's 3 other people thinking the same thing who are afraid to speak up, and they'll be right there with you.
Yeah.
All right, Lloyd, any last words?
Well, going a little bit on what Mike said, I forgot who said it as a quote, but evil flourishes when good men stay silent.
Right.
And with that, next weekend is Independence Weekend. It's also coming up on the 40th anniversary of mine and Judy's 40th anniversary. And as a result, I won't be doing any shows next week. I won't be doing one on the 4th. I won't be doing Greg's show on Friday, because Friday we're getting together with our kids. We're going to one of the big steakhouse, and we're going to have a big blowout steak dinners and doing all that, because to be honest with you, this is going to be the 39th anniversary past when anybody thought we'd ever make it. They didn't think we'd make it through the first year, and we've made it 39 more times since then. So it's a big deal for Judy and I. And my parents didn't quite make it to 40. They were about a week short when my dad passed away. And he'd been in a nursing home for about 9 months. So, it's a big deal. I'm just taking that whole next weekend. I told Greg, so I'm letting you know I won't be here next Sunday. Mel,
Right.
now that if you're still here, I'll tell you tonight anyways. And I won't be doing a show that Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, which is the 5th.
All right.
So.
Well, thank you guys again. Have a great Sunday and great Independence Day weekend. Hopefully Mike will be here next week. We'll see if, I think I'll still do a show. We'll talk about what independence really means. So if Mel wants to fill in for you, I'm open to that. Mel.
Mel just said he's taking the weekend off.
Oh, okay. All right, guys.
I'll talk to you in the meantime. We'll see if my family may or may not have something going on. I really don't know at this point.
Right.
No.
All right. Well, what we'll do is we'll, play it by ear.
Right.
So, thank you guys for coming in. Have a great Sunday, great Independence Day weekend, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great one.
Bye everybody.
Bye.